Is it safe to dive into a swimming pool?
Under certain circumstances, yes. But the first thing to say is you should never dive into a swimming pool that you've never used before. You should also consult the owner and find out what the depths are and how you should dive. Because you can always do what is called a racing dive, or used to be called a racing dive, because years ago the swimmer would not go too far underwater. If you watch the Olympics and things like that these days, they do go quite deep. But a flat racing dive that goes on the surface is, generally speaking, always safe. But you must be shown how to do it if you've never done one before. The problem is that if you dive into a swimming pool and you don't know what's under the water, your arms are not as strong as your legs if you jumped in. So if you do want to go into a swimming pool that you've never been in before, always find out the depth, and if in doubt, and you desperately want to jump in feet first, because there's springs there. Diving into a swimming pool, if one takes the diving board into consideration, or even off the side, depends on the dive you're doing. And if you're going to do a dive like what was called an English header, where you go up in the air and come down vertically through the water, or you want to do a swallow dive, then you need a good depth of water. SPATA have recommended for virtually all the time it's been in existence that a depth of 2.13 meters with certain other dimensions on the side of the diving board and forward of the diving board depths, and where it's shallowing perhaps. It's called the cage of safety, and that has worked very successfully for many, many years. It covers a diving board 500 millimeters above the water and is not a springboard. Once you get into springboards and bigger boards, then SPATA defaults to FINA, which is the international authority on diving and diving competitions. And you get diving pools in commercial pools that are several meters deep, because the divers are coming in from up to 10 meters above. So SPATA does have, as an afterthought, does have a FINA design for a pool that is 3 meters in depth, and that is to take into consideration very tall swimmers that perhaps want to dive. But never dive into any water that you don't know the depth.